But you know what, though? I gotta say, when you look at history, right, what happened this weekend,
I see what you're saying.
So, you know, the way that I see it, I mean, OpTic Gaming, they kind of feed off of this pressure, if you will.
Yeah, potentially. That's an interesting fact. I hadn't thought of it like that. You're very correct, actually. You know,
That's what I do. I am an intelligent person, and
too far. No.
Too far.
just no. Let's leave that one. Leave that one right there.
Oh my goodness. But okay, so looking at this match with Domination coming up, you said Envy, but what does OpTic Gaming need to do? Who are the players to look out for?
It depends on the game type. First one being Domination. The big thing is the last game of Domination that they played, they went into the lead, and they ended the first half, and I think it was a 14-point lead that they had on Complexity. This was when they were 2-1 up, so they were going into the second side, so close, 5 minutes away from taking Complexity, or putting Complexity, I should say, into the loser's bracket. But then what happened? There was just no slaying that was done. I mean, Scumpy was doing his best, Clay was trying to put up some numbers, but it was just all around, maybe, I don't want to say nerves, but more than anything, it was actually Complexity just playing extremely well.
And TP too. I mean, the guy can turn up whenever. I mean, he is such a talented player. He struggled at the US Finals. He knew he wanted to make his mark here at the Call of Duty Championship. So what does he do when pretty much everything's against him? It looks like all is lost. TP just goes big in that Sovereign game, and they're able to fight back. But then that momentum carried the team moving forward, and I have to say, I'm really excited about this one now. Like we said before, first map will be Freight Domination. For those of you guys who are just joining us here, 5-minute rounds. We play 2 rounds and, of course, hold the points to win. Usually you're going to see a lot of teams going for 2 captures and try and see if they can build up points that way. We switch sides after the first half.
Yes, 2 sides played in competitive Domination. OpTic versus Team EnVyUs. One of the biggest rivalries in competitive Call of Duty is about to get underway. It's the losers final between these 2 teams. One of these 2 teams will be eliminated from the tournament at the end of this game. And Golden Boy, I have to ask you, who do you want to get on board with first?
You know what, man? I got to go with Nameless.
Really?
I got to go with Nameless. The guy, this has been his event. Hands down, he is so good. He had a 3v1 clutch, if I'm correct, against, I believe it was Epsilon.
That was a huge
And he's just continuing to perform here in this matchup. So let's go ahead and hop into it. It's time for the loser bracket final, but it seems like, you know, someone actually joined the wrong team. It's all good.
Huh.
What a way to start it.
I was going to leave that. Yeah, a bit of miscommunication, maybe, from
Look at Rambo. What a kill.
Good stuff, Ray. Good way to start off. But, guys, make sure you guys are tweeting as much as possible about,
That's right.
Give us your predictions. Who do you reckon is going to win? You know, tweet it out. Hashtag CODChamps as well, and all of your tweets that go out. In terms of your overall prediction, though, Golden Boy, I didn't want to put you on the spot.
Yeah, I knew you were going to do it because I do it to you all the time.
You always do, so I thought I would throw it right back at you.
That's not fair.
Now you know how I feel all the time.
Given, I don't know if you saw that video that went up there that I did with Jessica Chobot. We spoke about the matchup. Really cool. As soon as that went live, you know, it probably was one of the worst times for me because I was sitting right at the stands and I just had a bunch of people glaring at me like,
kind of giving you the evil dagger eyes.
How could you?
How could you vote against us?
It's a tough one to call, right? When you talk about OpTic Gaming and what they've managed to accomplish here, you know, and they've done an incredible job of just bringing the hype, bringing the energy.
Would you say unexpected?
You know what? I would say to an extent, but at the same time, I know that they have been grinding hard. The SB LAN was a huge opportunity for them to be able to, you know, get in the action and really just build up their strategies and their planning and get their confidence too, which I think is super important. So I think that definitely came in handy for them. When you look at Envy, though, on the other side, they have the TCM LAN, which, you know, that also was another opportunity for them. Good team building, good confidence building.
Kind of shows you just, you know, both these 2 teams having that LAN practice before the event, and it really has worked out in their favor.
Complexity had the UGC LAN.
Exactly.
So got to do it.
Added practice really is helping. I mean, you know, these 2 teams finding themselves in the losers final. You see Nature on your screen there, but 10 seconds away from kicking off this Domination on Freight. Freight, one of my favorite maps in Call of Duty Ghosts. It's perfect for every single game type. And for Domination, Golden Boy, what would you say are the key sort of places to hold.
I mean, you know, you're going to want to see, as far as EnVy is concerned, for them to push Owens. So Owens building, that's going to be really important, and try and see if they could just force him on the opposite side of the map. Of course, it's just going to be a back and forth affair between these two teams. As we kick it off now with Nameless, and let's see what's going to happen. Bring up Oracle to see where the other players are going to be positioned at this point in time. One guy going to be top Owens as he gets taken out, jumping over to Study now. AR in hand, one of the best AR players I've seen. And he's looking to get a couple players over by top Red. Not going to happen. But of course, Study just continuing to watch around here. All right, and now we have Rambo looking around. He sees one player. He could potentially get hit markers on that one, but Nameless back on your screen. And I'm going to stick with EnVy here to see if they're going to be able to break this. Of course, OpTic Gaming coming out strong at the start, finding one. Good kill there by Name. And now Study on your screen. And he's anticipating someone to push up here on Red. Looking around, Rambo's going to be with him. Working together, another one in front. Study can't quite do it there as Rambo gets taken out as well.
A lot of pressure on Study. I think it's fair to say 18, first massive event he's going to have attended, teaming with the veterans Merc and Rambo, of course, so that's definitely going to be helping him through. You've got Clayster on your screen for OpTic Gaming. He's actually pushing up this right-hand side, and he's going to have that gunfight with Study, wins that one. Players rushing to his left-hand side. Just going to take his time. 3 players go down, and OpTic very much in control in the first minute and a half.
Yeah, you can see they're pushing aggressively on them. They're just trying to force them back white and get a couple key kills here. Placer, hit markers though, knowing someone could be behind him with the pistol, and he couldn't quite do it as Rambo's there for the shutdown. EnVyUs gets taken out. Over to Nadeshot, finding one by A, having to back up behind a wall. He will have a teammate there, Scumpy, finding one, getting the double kill. Big kills out of Scumpy to come out huge there and prevent what could have been a really bad situation for this team. Of course, they're getting pinned in, but they do have 2 flags, so bear that in mind. So if they lose that position,
they have the trip cap, and they're going to hold it as well. Scumpy gets the knife, and he does. He gets the knife on Rambo Ray. There's going to be more players pushing Scumpy. The second knife in a row. Scumpy a man on a mission. 3 kills for Scumpy. Oh, he has just lit up the main stage. 11 and 4 to start things off. OpTic Gaming in full control against one of their biggest rivals in competitive esports.
That is unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Pretty much.
I'm going back to Scumpy. He's 11-4. I mean, why not?
Let's stay with Scumpy. It's good call.
EnVy tried the best they can to prevent the bad situation there, but Scumpy was like, I ain't having it. He is, EnVyUs does get taken out. Back over to Scump, the Ginger Ninja. Of course, this guy has just been on the money in this matchup. One around the corner is going to find him. Easy pickings as he gets the hip fire there. Now looking around. Trying to see if anyone's going to be pushing out mid, but Scump's just going to continue to navigate this and control this side. Another one, and Scump is on a roll, Benson.
I can tell you, Scump wants to win so badly. He knows they could have been complexity, and he is more pumped than I think I've ever seen him. I had a quick chat with him actually after the complexity game, and he is fully motivated and ready to go. However, 3 players for OpTic have gone down. Going to leave Nadeshot last up, and with 2 minutes left, EnVy finally get control of that B flag.
Yeah, and now Nadeshot waiting to see if anyone's going to push up. Placer on the backside. He's going to hold down and see if anyone's going to be crossing. Nadeshot, though, finding one. He's going to get picked off now. Clayster and EnVyUs are going to be back by the C flag and focusing their attention on red. Callouts have been made, so you know that they're going to have to revert this way. Looking at EnVyUs now to see what's going to come, and that Call of Duty timing, but luckily it happened in the favor of EnVyUs there. Nadeshot now creeping up behind. This could be a big play to try and get at least a couple of points there. Nadeshot gets taken out back over to Scump.
Scump on that B flag. Has managed to neutralize it. Can he get the capture? That's a question. The bullets flying in from Team EnVyUs. He's so close to stuns there, but OpTic do get control back once again. It's a 20-point lead now as we go into the last minute of game time. Nadeshot has been taken down. Study, he's jumped straight back on it for Team EnVyUs, and EnVy looking at reducing this lead.
Yes, I mean, you have to do that in the first half. I mean, you don't want it to get too out of hand here. Study looking up top, finding one. MTAR in hand. Great shots there. Getting the double kill as well. Big pickup there by Study. 9 and 7 currently, but he's going to hold down red. And look at the way that they're just pushing up on OpTic Gaming. This has just been such a back and forth game, Ben.
Study has a couple of players around here. There's one. There's going to be a second underneath. Ooh. Went for the hip fire on that one, but EnVyUs managed to clean him up. Merc, meanwhile, he's trying to go for that cap. He did get the neutral, and I tell you what, EnVy really coming back into this now in the last 30 seconds. They're going to stop the bleed. Nameless with one. That's the second. The third's going to be on the beat by Nameless. Huge play coming out from him. Can he try and find the 4th player on the left-hand side? 18 seconds left. Doesn't really make that much of a difference if he picks it up or not, because that 2-1 flag lead is just slowly reducing that lead that OpTic Gaming managed to build.
Yep, and man, what a performance here. Despite what Scump was able to accomplish, a 7-point lead for OpTic Gaming going into the half. And man, what a first round to open that up.
Oh, completely agree. And you have to give OpTic some props. As we mentioned, you know, they're coming off the loss. It's Envy that's going into this hot off wins, and OpTic have managed to put that behind them. You know, put that whole series of complexity behind them, and that's something that only the top players in the world can do. I know myself, if I was a player, I'd be thinking about that. I'd be like, God, I could have beaten them, and it'd be playing on my mind. But these top players,
I don't know if you'd be there though.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
I probably would.
I've seen you play. You're not all that great.
It's
okay. But you know what though? You gotta give OpTic Gaming the credit there to try to hold off that attack from Envy, because Envy was just, I mean, like, they were relentless toward the latter part of that game. Yeah,
they really did start a massive comeback, and that's what's scary about this EnVyUs lineup. They can do things just like that. They can amp up the pressure and the aggression in just a couple of seconds, and it takes big plays from Study, as we saw, picking up a couple of kills in quick succession, and that just puts them pretty much straight back into the game. And you can see you've got Team EnVyUs on your left-hand side and OpTic Gaming on the right. But as you said, OpTic going in with a very, very fragile 7-point lead.
77-70 was the total in that last one. And, you know, when you look at it, right, and you look at what OpTic was able to do at the beginning, if Scump can do that again, if he could do that again, that would give OpTic this round win, this match win, I should say, or game. But the thing that I'm looking out for on the Envy side, I got to say it again, Nameless. I got to point him out one more time. If he also goes off, I mean, and it's crazy too, because on Envy, I just see you have so many weapons on that team, just great players. And then when you have Rambo who's going off and he's playing amazing, that's when that team they're just on another level, pretty much.
Completely agree. One of the players I want to keep my own personal eye out for on this Team EnVyUs lineup is going to actually be Merc. Merc, a fantastic player.
He always sails by. No one ever talks about him.
Exactly what I was about to say. He's one of those players which just consistently just puts up good numbers, and he just kind of slides under the radar. No one really gives him massive props, because obviously you have Study and Nameless and then Rambo in Search and Destroy. But Merc's there permanently across the board, every game type, doing his role, and that's exactly what EnVyUs need him to do. Just do that role, play well, play consistent. And I have to admit, Merc may well be one of the most consistent players in the Call of Duty competitive circuit.
Yeah, I mean, most definitely, and I've always been a big fan of Merc. I mean, you know, the reason why I've always liked Merc is because he's not the kind of guy that's going to go out there and yell his, you know, accomplishments at the top of a mountain, right? He is a very reserved guy, and on top of which, he's just overall a good dude, and he's a great teammate to have. Every single person that I've talked to, especially Study, because me and Study, I talk to him all the time, and I asked him, I was like, Study, how is it teaming with Merc? He says, you know, Merc, he treats everyone on the team like a brother, and you know, like he takes it to that other level. He appreciates all his teammates. It really is a cool thing there. So big props to Merc there, and for what he's done.
That's kind of why I love that EnVyUs lineup, because it's a mixture of massive experience, like huge experience, and also some youth and experience. And you can see the updated standings coming in from this year's Call of Duty World Championship presented by Xbox. You got 8th place Vex Revenge taking home 25,000. 7th place Rise Nation 35,000. FaZe coming in at 6th place. They're going to take home a nice little chunk of $50,000. Trident T1 Dotters.
The boys from Australia.
The boys from Australia caused so many upsets, so many people turning their heads. They have come in at a very impressive 5th place, taking home an impressive $70,000. No one will have seen that coming, and now you have to sit there and you have to say, all right, this Australian community, I think we need to maybe take them a little bit more seriously now, because they've come at the biggest level and played very well. And then obviously in 4th place, you had Strictly Business Gaming. They're going to take home a huge chunk, 100,000 between them.
It's a lot of nuts. Been saying that all weekend long. It's a lot of money. It's way too much. I don't know what these kids are going to do with it. I know, right? Just make it rain. Yeah, and I feel like we've been seeing a lot of make it rain just quotes this weekend. It's Call of Duty Championships. We're playing for $1 million. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. But you know what cracks me up though about this is that coming into it, and we're all like, you know, just guilty of it. None of us gave Australia the time of day.
Well, BioAsset did.
Yeah, but even Bio, I will say, he was like, I'm not sure, because we haven't really seen that, right? And then they come out strong, they're performing, and while of course they are a great team when it comes to Search and Destroy, I want to see them get that practice against North American teams for respawn game types. I am just so excited that they managed to do this. It really proves that competitive Call of Duty is a global esport, and I love it.
It really does. It really does. You know, you got to give them some serious props. As I said, They definitely deserve it. The hard work they've been putting over there in Australia.
Everyone's been putting in hard work. I mean, in these two teams, most importantly, I mean, EnVy and OpTic, like we said before this match started, they had 2 lands that were so beneficial to them to be able to get that practice. Look where they are right now with that practice.
They are 2 of the last remaining 3 teams. Obviously, the third team, Team Complexity, they booked their spot in the grand final a little earlier on today in a fantastic 5-game thriller against Team OpTic Gaming. It was absolutely sensational. They just managed to beat them out at the last map, 6-0ing them actually in Search and Destroy. If you haven't seen that, quite frankly, I don't know where you were.
Yeah, I
should have been watching that game.
Doesn't make sense. Why would you miss that? So I want to kick it off with Scump because he had an amazing run at the beginning of that matchup there when they were pressing them back by A. Now OpTic is going to be fighting from the opposite side, fighting from A, and let's see if they're going to be able to make anything happen here. Scump, though, he is going to get taken out over to EnVyUs. And as he will try to find the player that was going to be located to the right side by Red, but instead he's going to get met with a ton of bullets there, and he gets dropped.
Nadeshot now on your screen. That B flag still neutral. It's only a very, very small 7-point lead. That is all that is in between these teams right now from that first side. And just thinking back, you know, Golden Boy, the last time we saw these 2 teams play, OpTic versus EnVy, was actually at the US Finals. Yeah,
that's right. That's right. It was the US Final. And the fans love it. I mean, you know, seeing OpTic Gaming and EnVy face off against each other, it's always a pleasure. You know, you have 2 of the most storied teams in all of Call of Duty, all of competitive Call of Duty, just really just showing up here at this event. Now, in any case, back to the action. 3 down here. Nadeshot by himself. Let's see what America's favorite gamer can do as he will look by, but there's going to be 2 players by Red and another one by B. Gets 1, and that's going to be an assist for him. But still, though, he is going to have his teammates there for support. B has not been taken control of just yet. It will be 14 points apiece and a tied game. What a way to kick off the first minute and 20 seconds.
And EnVyUs has jumped on that B flag. He is going to grab it, but it's going to be contested almost immediately. Can EnVyUs find him through the smoke? He's going to stay lying there for the contest. Rambo's pushing around the left-hand side. He just killed Scump. Now this is where Bose needs to go big. Picks up a couple of kills there with the support there of Nadeshot, I should say.
Yep.
And now he's actually pushing potentially down to back lumber, but there's a player who's chased him. He's going to go down.
Yeah, now Nadeshot looking by fire. He's going to get 1. That's going to be a good pick for them. And if they can just continue to hold this one down, Nadeshot is going to get picked, though. And if they can continue to hold this off, that would be great for them. Obviously, they have that 7-point lead. Like you mentioned before, Ben, it's fragile. I honestly think you're just going into this one thinking it's a whole new game.
Oh, absolutely.
And that it's 0-0, and you're just going to play your match. You know, play the matchups and win your gun battles.
Completely agree. Couldn't put it better myself. And OpTic still with that 2-1 flag control. However, Clayster is going to get taken down there. A bit of aggressive push from Study. And speaking of Study, he's picked up 2 kills. With 1. That's the second. Can he get the third? Not going to happen. Merc turns around and makes small work of him. Scump on your screens. He knows there's going to be a player around here. Nicely done cleaning up Merc. But whilst all that was going on, those 3 players were able to get control of the B flag for EnVy. So they are starting to reduce that OpTic Gaming lead.
Yeah, Scump here. He's going to go right back for it and get this one. And that's going to be a good one for them, getting those Scump. 2 flags. Big win there by Scump. Currently going to be 6-7, but he managed to find another. And now he's going to be 7-7, continuing to push forward on Lumber.
He's on a 4-point streak as well, and he's going to have more envious players pushing towards him. Can he extend it? Yes, he can. Another kill. That one was on Nameless. And this position that he's in right now is going to be very difficult for EnVy to try and cap that B flag with Scump up here. Just slaying away. This play's on B. Now can Scump try and make some plays. He's going to see just ahead. Gets the kill. There's going to be 2 more plays. There's Scump with 1. Couldn't find the third. Nameless looked up top. Now Nadeshot trying to defend the flag. Does so. Nicely played by OpTic Gaming as they extend that lead as we go into the last 2 minutes of game time.
Yeah, they were losing their home flag too, but they were able to turn around in time. Big win from Nadeshot to be able to stop that cap on B, and that could have turned really bad for them. OpTic Gaming going to be leading in this matchup still with that 7-point lead. Bear that in mind. Nadeshot finding 1 in front as he will have a teammate there. It will be an assist for him, and Clayster continuing to navigate right by Red, or just keep his focus on Red to see if anyone's going to push up.
EnVyUs top of OpTic Gaming scoreboard, 14-9.
They definitely needed this.
See what he can do as he picks up 1, goes down. They do defend that B flag though. Big kill coming in from Nadeshot, shutting down Rambo. Scump's going to go down almost instantly though as soon as we switch on board with him. Nadeshot in a great position to defend that B flag, worth mentioning.
Yeah, that's right. Now EnVy is going to be pushing up here. Nade finding 1, going for the second, and he gets it. A big win there for Nadeshot, taking out Study and Nameless with 55 seconds left on the clock it seems like OpTic Gaming is poised for victory here in game number 1 of this loser bracket final. Nadeshot finding another. You saw it there in the Oracle, and he gets the double and a big win there from Nadeshot as well. Study a victim of yet another double kill, but EnVyUs with the grenade. And if we take a look at Envy, really, there has been a couple of bright spots there, but not enough for them to be able to come out on top in this matchup.
We saw a great rotation actually from Envy towards that A flag, but OpTic replied instantly by rotating back towards C flag, and Bose has just dropped 18 and 11. Scumpy continuing with the slaying,
down.
14 and 10. Fantastic performance coming out of this OpTic Gaming lineup, and they've just shown that that loss against Complexity, that's not even in their minds at all.
Yeah, I mean, you got to play one game at a time. That's just the name of the game, honestly. And wow, OpTic Gaming and EnVyUs managing to drop 20 kills in this side of Domination. Big performance here from them as they close it out 94-61. And that'll wrap up game number 1 in favor of the Green Wall.
Clayster getting himself as pumped up as he possibly can. And that's what Clayster does. Clayster becomes, and I quote from him, twice the player he could ever be when he gets himself pumped up and he gets himself vocal. Then you add that vocalness or vocality, I'm not sure what the exact word would be, the loudness.
That energy?
The energy. I could have just said that. That probably would have made things easier. The hype. You know? You add that and you add it to Scump as well.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah,
gets scary, gets very scary. But let's have a look at some of the replays from this Domination Freight. Scump on your screen, there's a knife.
That's incredible.
And then, you know, you're thinking, okay, he has a couple of players running out, what's he gonna do? Oh, hello! Hits another knife, and as if that wasn't big enough, gets a kill as well with his weapon. Fantastic stuff from him. Yeah, and EnVyUs, of course, a couple great plays from him. He definitely was a star here, and although Nameless went big at the start with that triple kill, or I should say toward the end of that first round there, it really was the story of EnVyUs coming up big, dropping 20 kills, actually went 20 and 12, and was a big factor in them being able to win this matchup. When Bose plays well, when Bose is consistent, they win. And then Scump went on that nice little streak and almost found himself another 3-piece there. Wasn't to be. Nadeshot doing some good rotations, picks up an impressive 2-piece on that left-hand side, but all round, fantastic stuff coming out from OpTic Gaming in game number 1. And you see just how much that means. Clayster standing up, high fives all around, getting himself as pumped as he possibly can. Yeah, and obviously Clayster is a big factor in that, right? I mean, you know, you talk about the hype, right? And that was something that he brought to Complexity before they released him. Right. They needed that guy that was going to give them that energy, that motivation, and as well as, you know, bring the gun skill. When he showed up during, I believe it was MLG Dallas, if I'm correct, he showed up with Unite Gaming Clayster and had such a run, such an incredible run with that team. Everyone knew Clayster is back. The veteran was here to stay, and that energy that he brought became such a huge factor that every team began looking for that. Absolutely. Unreal stuff coming out from OpTic Gaming in game number 1. They go 1-0 up in the series against Team EnVyUs. But you're going to have to wait just a quick couple of seconds to get to a commercial break. We'll be right back with game number 2.